Welcome back to Sip of Tea, back to a new school year, back to reality. Us Jamaicans would say, you're free paper bun. And pretty much what it means is that unfortunately your enjoyment has come to an end. And as I said a little bit earlier, back to reality, baby. But yes, welcome back everyone to Sip of Tea. For those who are new, never heard it before, well, you're in for a treat. Now, this segment, I've been thinking about doing it for quite some time now. I really wanted to do a segment with just some tips and tools for success as, we end our summer and we enter into a fresh new school year. As many of you know, I am a recent graduate of BU, Brock University. And this is my first time in about roughly 17 years that I haven't been preparing myself to head back to school. And if I'm honest, I'm a bit sad and a tad bit emotional. Like, summer was crazy, and yes, life is really beginning, but not going to school this September really hit me, man. Like, I know some of my other fellow graduates are also feeling the withdrawals of not going to school. You can call this crazy, but it's real. Life hits you and you're adulting, wishing you were back in school with some form of structure. Now, I cannot speak for my friends, but I am a true nerd. I'm a student for life. If I don't learn something every day, there's a problem. And when I say learn something, I actually mean learn something to the point where I'm able to reteach it to someone else. That's what I consider learning. So not going to school seriously had me all up in my feelings. But this segment isn't to be like, hey, yo, I'm not going back to school and I'm sad. This segment is to help you, my listeners, my friends, my peers. It's to help you all have a better academic year, have a fresh start and a smooth transition. Now, I'm not your mom, but some of you would refer to me as Mama T. And well, Mama T, she has 5 tips she wants to share with you. 5 tips for starting your new season so that you can ensure your success and have nothing but the best results. The first of the 5 steps is to frame your mind. The main thing standing between you and that level up is simply the mindset that you can or cannot achieve it. I know a lot of times before we start doing things and we question it, we start to speak negatively sometimes about them. We speak negatively about what's coming up next, about the next school year, about the next step of your life, not knowing where everything's going to turn to, often giving up before we start. But what we need to do is speak positively, change that narrative, create a positive picture in our minds, and tell yourself that you can and you will conquer it. And once you've externalized those positive thoughts, they eventually become your reality because you've spoken it into existence. So that's number 1. Frame your mind. The second tip I have for you guys, but it's really actually been my number 1, is to be organized. It's so simple, but I'm so serious. Be organized. A little organization will go such a long way. And if you've ever seen me in my zone, then you'd honestly think I'm crazy. I have things color-coded. Everything is in a specific layout. If something is going to be underlined here, then it's going to be underlined there as well. I had my courses color-coded, so when I wrote down assignments, I never doubted what assignment was with what class because it went with the color that it was supposed to be. I mean, it was crazy. But I really just think I have OCD. Or maybe I'm just a perfectionist, as some like to say. But real talk. I know it's a lot at first, but trust me, when you take the time to be organized in the beginning, it's going to help you so much in the long run. You're putting in a lot of time right now to get it organized, but your future self will thank you because you're going to have a much more flexible time later. My university friends, students, you guys get your syllabuses at the beginning of the year, and school hasn't really begun to pick up yet. So take that time now. Just a little advice, just a little tip. Look at everything, write out your dates that you're going to have for the whole year so that once you're in your school term, you kind of have an idea of when everything is due. You know how to plan around this. You know how to put certain things in a priority list. You know what I mean? You won't have as much surprises or last minute running around. And I know that's not going to stop everyone from procrastinating because I've done it too. I've known about dates 2-3 months in advance. Yet the week of, I'm like, oh man, I never thought this was going to be so hard. Or, I should have started this earlier. Despite knowing of the date, I know we're still going to procrastinate. But the most important thing is that I knew about it. And that's what mattered. Because I was able to still prepare for it. But honestly, being organized goes such a long way. Especially when you take the time just to pre-plan and prep the little things. Whether it be my example of the assignment due dates or planning your outfits for the week, packing your bags with the books that you're going to need for class tomorrow, sleep in a little bit. You don't have that to do when you wake up. Thinking about what you're going to cook for breakfast. Trust me, these little things getting ironed out the night before, save yourself time and struggle for the next day. And no, I am not saying everything has to be organized to the T like me. Get it to the T? Okay. No, it's not funny. But really, it doesn't have to be as organized to the point where everything is calculated down to a millisecond. But a little structure, it does go a long way. Creating that structure actually brings me to tip number 3. Find your routine. What works best for you, not your roommates, not your boyfriend, not your parents, none of that. Find your own routine. Find your footing. Get your balance. It's so important to break into good habits in the first weeks. It's always so much more beneficial to start your habits sooner rather than later. You'll have those habits and routines so in sync that it becomes like second nature to you. You won't even realize it, but that routine will naturally carry itself through the entire school year. I mean, hey, they say it takes 21 days to create a habit. So why not start now? That's just my take on it. My 4th tip, which actually might be the most difficult one of all, and some of you may not really like me for saying this one, but number 4 is check your circle. If you want to succeed, then you have to be in the presence of others who have similar missions as well as similar drives as you do. And if no one does, don't be afraid to go get it on your own. Get your goals on your own. I'm not saying you can't have friends. Of course, you can still have friends. Just prioritize your goals over your friends. And maybe limit some of the interactions with your friends so that the goals that you have will come first. It's a hard step. And for someone who loves friend and company and really enjoys having people around them, it was hard for me. But once I got started in my routine to hustle and grind by myself, it really didn't matter. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my friends, but sometimes I felt that I was always on a different wave. When it was time to study, I did that. I always extended an invite to any and everyone who cared to join me on a little study date. But more times it was your girl doing her thing. You cannot allow your friends to lead you astray. You got to do what you got to do to graduate, to get that level up. And after sounding like your mom for the past 4 tips, my 5th and final tip, which to me is a very important tip, is to have fun. When you enjoy what you do, you will do better. And that's a fact. Find a way to incorporate the things that you love into your study routine. Try things such as studying and rewarding yourself, or studying while you're doing something that you really enjoy. It helps you get it done, and it helps to keep you motivated as well. If you know me, then you know I work really hard, but I also find ways to enjoy myself all the time. People are always asking me, how do you do it? You're so involved. You're doing this, you're doing that. I swear you're never home on the weekends. When do you find time? Like you're still managing school. And it's simple. I had fun while I was going to school. And it's all a part of that footing, that finding your balance. Having fun while you're in school. I made school fun for me. Had to motivate myself some way. Frame my mind. Made it a routine. Found that footing. And I was able to get through it. Like, a girl like me would be studying with music, studying dancing. Hey, I've even studied while crushing weights at the gym. But it was all about how I made school work for me. It was all about how I was able to find fun in school. And really, that's all it is. It's all about how you make this life work for you. It's all about how you balance school while having fun. It's about how you learn to organize your time, have things embedded into your routine, how you set your mindset to succeed. Now, I've only given 5 tips on what I think is good for anyone listening in this time as they're going back to school, as they're transitioning, maybe not even transitioning through school, just going through another transition in life. These are 5 tips that I think are good to apply now in that transition period, simply because it will help you when you're at that midway mark. By getting yourself in a good place now, by keeping that momentum at starting it. When you're halfway through and you want to give up, the momentum will be starting to build that. There won't be any need to, because it's already embedded in you. And when you're nearing the end, you would have gotten to the end with that same momentum, that same energy. So why would you want to break it now? I want everyone that's listening to succeed and be successful in all it is that they do. And for me, transition periods and getting back into routine have always been difficult. But trust me, you will overcome it. We've all overcome it before, so what's going to make this time any different? And that's all for my welcome back segment of Sip of Tea. As I said, I want you guys all to succeed. I wish you all the best in your upcoming school year, in your lives, in your journeys. I want to say thank you for tuning in to my segment. It means a lot. And if you have any questions, any topics you want to talk about, hit me up. I like to talk. So once we're here to spread positive energy and good vibes, like, I'm here for it. So just hit me up at _Tia Amoy on Instagram. You already know what it is. It's your girl, Lady T. And I'm signing off of Sip of Tea.